Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Hacking into Comedy. That last episode you guys were asking what is bombing? Please bombing is when a comedian flops on stage or when a comedian does not do well on stage. That is bombing. I beg it doesn't have anything to do with fraud. Before you say I told you to do fraud, EFCC no don't understand joke. Thank you guys very much for that engagement on the last video, man. I saw your comments, I saw your question, and I'll answer this guy's question. He said, I personally don't try joke every day, but anytime I write, I dey feel am. He said, I have two major issues. First of all, rehearsing my material for a while, I tend to lose confidence in it. Come funny to me again. I fit take off that one. Then he said, number 2, what is the best way to rehearse? My bro, this thing is normal for your jokes to become boring. It's normal. Once a material becomes boring, automatically you lose confidence in it. That's why we have comedy clubs. You go to comedy club, you test your material with different audience. You test your material with different audience, you know the strength, then you keep the joke, except you want to be editing the joke. But in a situation where you keep to rehearse joke or alone, back to back, my bro, the joke will definitely become boring. And once the joke is boring, you will lose confidence. Just like watching a movie back to back. The movie will become boring. So that is just it. Then number 2, you said what's the best way to rehearse? By editing your jokes. Edit your jokes. You must get new ideas. You understand? Then in random conversation, just throw your joke in. If your friends laugh, they know that joke is funny. Then rehearse your jokes in front of mirror. That's for those of now we get mirror for us. Don't be everybody get mirror for us now. Times are hard now. I go lie for you. So yeah, you understand? Rehearse your jokes in front of mirror so that you know your gestures and how you perform. Then go to comedy clubs. I said that before. Comedy club is very important. Make sure you go to comedy club. You understand? Perform your jokes to different audience so that you can know the strength. I hope I've been able to answer your questions. So let's dive into today's topic. Today I'll be talking about types of stand-up comedy. Types of stand-up comedy. If you're here and you want to become a stand-up comedian, I'll be mentioning 8 types of stand-up comedy. So listen carefully so that you know the one that you fit into. Then if you're here, you're a stand-up comedian, but you don't know the type of comedy you're doing, listen carefully too. Some of them are just want to perform, make people laugh. You don't even know the type of comedy you're doing. So listen carefully. Number 1, observational comedy. Observational comedy, just like the name implies, it's all about observation of your everyday life, your social norms, your personal behavior. So it's just an observation of everything that is happening around you. The reason why I like this comedy is because it's relatable, it's understandable, and most times it's clean. Sometimes it can be dirty, because now everyday life we see dirty and clean things. Like my everyday life now, sometimes we see the kind of ashwa they see for this Lagos. So if I talk about yashi, my joke, it's what I saw. It's what I saw. So even though it's dirty, but that's why I like this type of comedy. It's very relatable. Example of comedians that does observational comedy internationally, we have Jerry Seinfeld, we have Jim Gaffigan. Then in Nigeria, we have Ovi Godwin, we have Ali Baba, we have comedian Aproko, we have Destoka, we have Ogene. Note, one thing about stand-up comedy is that comedy is variety. You understand? As a stand-up comedian, you can be doing different style of comedy, but there's one that your strength is in very well. You understand? So that's one thing about stand-up comedy. So yeah, those are people that I know that do observational comedy. They can still be many, but those are the one I can mention. Then this type of comedy works because the audience will connect with you. It's about everyday life. So them too, they used to see these things, but they cannot talk it because they don't have the platform or because they are not comedians. But you now you're saying this thing and them used to see it too, so they will connect with you easily. It will be as if you're living their life. You understand? So that is one thing about this observational comedy you get. Then number 2, storytelling comedy. Storytelling comedy, just like the name implies, is focused on personal stories, whether real or exaggerated fiction. You understand? It's all about telling stories, personal stories. This style of comedy is narrative driven. It's narrative driven and it's always build up to a punchline or twist. You get? It's all about narration. You're narrating something, you're narrating a story, and it's always end in a punchline or a twist. Example of storytelling comedians. Internationally, we have Kevin Hart, we have Trevor Noah, we have Dave Chappelle. Then in Nigeria, we have Basket Mat, we have comedian Aproko, we have Bovi, we have Destoka, we have Obina. You saw I mentioned Aproko in observational comedy. I still mention him now. in storytelling comedy. So you see that thing I told you, as a comedian you can be doing different style of comedy, but there is one that your strength is in very well. You understand? Then number 3, we have one-liner. So I've mentioned observational, I've mentioned storytelling. Then number 3 now, one-liner comedy. One-liner comedy. This type of comedy is always short, sharp jokes, and delivered one after the other. You understand? It can be wordplay, it can be irony, it can be randomness. One thing about this style of comedy is like a rapid fire. Pa, 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 pa. You understand? I'll give you an example of one-liner joke. There's this joke I said, Pampers now, 1 pack is 38,000. Who they important this period? Don't know what you God do for them. That's one-liner joke. We have some people have been Yahoos in days of to go. Till today, they don't have where to go. See that wordplay, see the way it's short, you see the punchline. So that is one-liner joke. You understand? Example of comedians that does one-liner joke internationally. We have Mitch Hedberg. We have Stephen Wett. We have then in Nigeria here we have Akpororo. We have MC Royal. We have SLK. We have MC Passion. We have MC Edo Pikin. You understand? So that is that for one-liner comedy. Then number 4, we have dark comedy or dark humor. This type of comedy, this type of comedy very hard though. It explores on the taboo or uncomfortable stories and topics, turning them into humor. This comedy is one of the hardest type of comedy. It's only for the strong-minded. You understand? Topics like death, topics like mental illness, topics like addiction, topics like tragedy, topics like rape. You get? This style of comedy is one of the hardest style of comedy because it can be provocative. Yes, that's why I need to find humor in it too. Because this comedy is controversial. It's everything bad about the life is all about this comedy. You understand? Example of comedian that does dark humor. Internationally, we have Anthony Jeselnik, we have Frankie Boyle, we have Bube Comedian, we have SLK, we have Ikomo. These are people that I know. Dark humor in Nigeria is real because Nigeria they quick verse, they quick take things serious. So if they don't find humor, in they go drag you. So you understand? That's why I say this type of comedy is for only the strong-minded. Example of dark humor joke, I have one. I said I lost my dad 6 years ago. He come appear for my dream yesterday, just they laugh. I say why they laugh now? He say yes, so they buy fuel 1 2. Say thank God saying that at that time. To saying that life now this year for still die. So that is example of dark humor joke because it's about death. You understand? So I've mentioned 4 types of comedy. I've mentioned observational comedy, I've mentioned storytelling comedy, I've mentioned one-liner, and I've mentioned dark humor. Now number 5, we have political comedy. These are our critics and mocks on the politics. You understand? Politics, the society, the institution. You get this type of comedy focuses on government, media, race, gender. You get that's all about this comedy, all about politics. You understand? This style of comedy is very intellectual. You understand? And its reference is to current events. You get like I don't know when have you seen a comedian that talk about government back to back, that kind of thing. Example of comedian that does political comedy international. We have Chris Rock. That one they talk about government back to back. You get we have George Carlin. We have Dave Chappelle. You understand? Then in Nigeria, I mentioned Dave Chappelle in storytelling comedy. So you see what I told you, just like what I said at the beginning, that you can do different type of comedy as a comedian, but there's one that your strength is in. You understand? Then in Nigeria, we have I Go Die, we have Clean the Drum, we have If You Worry Boy, and we have God Dance. You see that the comedians that does this type of political comedy are not plenty. Because everybody they fear the SS. I go lie for you. Everybody they fear the SS, so they are not really plenty like that. Number 6, improvisational comedy or spontaneous comedy. Yes, spontaneous comedy. This type of comedy is all about interacting with the crowd. You understand? Creating jokes on the spot. You understand? With the moment. Creating jokes on the spot with the moment. You get this kind of comedy. Even crowd work is also part of spontaneous comedy. This style of comedy is loose and unscripted. This comedy is unscripted because you did not plan it. It was on the spot. And this type of comedy can be hard too because it's not easy to create jokes on the spot. You understand? Example of comedians that does spontaneous comedy international. We have Matt Rife. Matt Rife does spontaneous comedy. We have Robin Williams. Then in Nigeria here we have Jester. We have Buchi Comedian. We have Ose. We have Ogene. We have The Stalker. So you see it. I mentioned The Stalker in observational comedy. Now I'm mentioning him here again in spontaneous comedy. So that's what I told you in the beginning. Now number 7, we have Deadpan or dry humor. You understand? Deadpan comedy. This is a style of comedy where the comedians deliver jokes with a straight face, using less emotion. Like even though the content is outrageous or dark, that straight face, that is what to be using. You understand? And this style of comedy is all about being calm. Deadpan, being calm. You understand? Less emotion, no much emotion in your tune. Sarcasm. You understand? This type of comedy draws the audience, because when you're being calm and you're saying, you're taking things slowly, like your tune is not that high, it's not that low, the audience want to listen, so they will draw, their attention will draw to you automatically. Example of comedians that does deadpan comedy international, we have Anthony Joselnik, we have Stephen Wright. Then in Nigeria here, we have Funny Urge, we have Obina. So you see what I said? Now I've mentioned Obina in deadpan, I still mentioned him in storytelling. So that's what I said in the beginning. Then number 8, we have musical comedy. Musical comedy. This is the type of comedy that you just like name imply, you need to combine jokes with music. You understand? Combining of joke with music. This style of comedy is rhythmic, and its performance base can be theatrical. You understand? It's all about theater, it's all about music. You understand? So example of comedian that does this type of musical comedy international, we have Buborohan and Tim Minich. We have in Nigeria, we have Kenny Black and we have Kevin Sapp. Yes. So that is that for types of comedy. I mentioned 8. Number 1, I said observational comedy. Number 2, I said storytelling. Number 3, I said one-liner. Number 4, I said dark humor. Number 5, I said political comedy. Number 6, I said spontaneous comedy. Number 7, deadpan. Number 8, musical comedy. So you see, those are types of comedy. So as a comedian, with all this thing I've explained, I know from today you will know the type of comedy you do. And for those of you that want to become a stand-up comedian, I know you will know where you fit in. I know some of you be asking now, then you, what type of comedy do you do? Me, okay, I do observational comedy, I do political comedy, and I do spontaneous comedy. Then a bit of dark humor, a bit of, I not too like I just have about only 2 jokes of dark humor. I have my dad dead joke and I have rape joke. I think doing those 2. You understand? But where my strength lies on is political. I have a lot of political jokes, observational comedy, and spontaneity. I'm also good at spontaneity. So I hope with all I've said today, you have been able to learn something. So make sure you drop your comments, ask your question, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Very important for more content. You understand? Thank you very much for watching this, and God bless you. Stay safe.